Top causes of a check engine light. A check engine light can create instant uncertainty. You may wonder whether it's safe to keep driving, whether the issue is minor, or whether a larger problem is developing. The most important thing to understand is that the check engine light is a warning indicator, not a full diagnosis. It means the vehicle detected abnormal operating data. It does not automatically identify the exact root cause. That is why the right next step is a structured diagnostic process built around one standard, truly having the customer best interest at heart. That means no guessing, no unnecessary part replacement, no pressure-based recommendations, no vague answers, just evidence-based testing, clear communication, and practical repair path, a practical repair path designed around long-term reliability. What the check engine light actually means, it can be an ignition or combustion quality problem. It can be fuel delivery and fuel correction problem, intake, airflow and engine load, oxygen sensors and exhaust behavior, catalytic converter efficiency, temperature regulation, sensors, wiring, circuit integrity, onboard computers, on and on and on. When a value falls outside expected range, the onboard diagnostic system stores trouble information and may illuminate the check engine light. So this is an important distinction. A trouble code usually tells you where the system noticed a problem. It does not always tell you what failed first. So you got a solid light versus a flashing light. So a solid check engine light usually indicates a fault that should be diagnosed soon, and then still very soon. The vehicle may still run, but delays can allow related issues to worsen. But a flashing check engine light often indicates an active misfire severe enough to risk catalyst damage. That should be treated as urgent because catalytic converters cost a lot. I mean, a whole lot. And then, some of the top causes of a check engine light are like the ignition system faults, spark plugs, ignition coils, and associated ignition circuits are common causes. Typical symptoms: rough idle, engine shaking while stopped, hesitation on acceleration, reduced performance under load. Then you got vacuum leaks and unmetered air. Unmetered air entering the intake system can push the engine lean and destabilize performance. Typical symptoms are like idle fluctuations, surging at low speeds, hesitation, lean condition codes. Mass airflow sensor issues are because of this mass airflow sensor, the MAF, helps determine fuel strategy by measuring incoming air. And the typical symptoms are sluggish throttle response, inconsistent acceleration, occasional stalling, air-fuel correction faults. And you have oxygen sensor and air-fuel sensor faults. And these sensors are key inputs for fuel control and emission strategy. Typical symptoms are irregular drivability, emission monitor issues, catalyst-related code patterns, fuel trim instability. So, and then of course you got the catalytic converter efficiency faults, and catalyst-related codes are common, but the converter may be affected by upstream performance issues. Typical symptoms are reduced response, persistent emission-related warnings, changes in exhaust behavior. And then you've got the EVAP system leak or purge vent faults. The EVAP system captures and manages fuel vapor. Leaks and valve faults often trigger warnings with little drivability change. So typical symptoms are check engine light with otherwise normal driving's feel, and then reoccurring EVAP codes, intermittent warning return patterns. Fuel delivery and injector performance problems. You got the typical symptoms of hard starting, hesitation under acceleration, random misfire behavior, lean operation faults. And then you got the engine temperature regulation faults. The typical symptoms are long warm-up periods, inconsistent operations at startup, temperature-related codes, gradual performance decline. And you've got wiring, ground, and connector integrity issues. Typical symptoms are random reoccurring codes, multiple unrelated faults, symptoms that vary with heat, vibration, and misfire. And then you have the module communication calibration related faults. Some issues involve module communication behavior or software strategy logic. Typical symptoms, persistent faults with inconsistent physical symptoms, reoccurring warnings after incomplete repairs, communication related trouble data. So what that really means to me on just a simple regular basis is that's just blah, 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 blah. Because without all of the experience, without all of the technical knowledge, and without all of the monthly subscriptions to all of the tech programs, and without the proper equipment, and without everything that it takes to diagnose any and all of this stuff, it doesn't mean, think about it. You go to a place, a parts store, a transmission shop, whatever, that does free code reading. It's not free diagnostic, it's free code reading. And you get your codes. Ooh, now you're armed, right? No, you're not. You're confused. Think about it this way. That would be like somebody having a diagnostic for your body, okay, and you going and getting a free code read and taking it to the doctor. I mean, if you've ever been in an emergency room situation where you got a high fever, I mean, the average expense nowadays in my area, the average cost in an emergency room visit is $17,000. Average cost. You walk into the emergency room, the average expense at that emergency room is $17,000. Because that's what they're doing. They're running diagnostics on you, the human being, right? 17 grand. Okay, think about it. You walk into an automotive repair shop and whine if we charge for diagnostics at all. I mean, it absolutely makes no sense. When we're thinking about in these terms, I get it. We don't want to spend money. We don't want to spend money because we don't have to. And hey, I can get my code read for free. Okay, whoopee. You think that you getting your code read for free is going to cost less when you walk into the emergency room? It's just not. So there's so many things going on, and so many things that can be going on, and so many different false trails that we have to go down to diagnose a vehicle. It's not even funny. And sometimes we get lucky in it, and it's the first trail that we go down, but it's just luck. It has nothing to do with skill or expertise or anything else. And even if it did have to do with skill or expertise, shouldn't you have to pay for that skill or expertise? Stay safe, stay strong.